It's true. Like the Boston series had 2 games. We got away from them in game 2 and had a big advantage, and they had us in a couple of games in that mid part of that series. Other than that, they're all been incredibly tight games. It's not an underdog mentality, but we played a month and a half of those. And say it's a regular season, it wasn't for us. Like we lose those games, we're done. So Matthew Tkachuk scores. I don't know how much time's left in that Washington game, but that's a tight game, right? I mean, there's a minute or so left when he scores. Like we have to win that game. So we've been doing it for so long now. You do get to a comfort level on the bench. It just feels the same. That might be all of these games. And yes, the pressure amps up because it's the playoffs, but the feel of the bench is the same.
Going back to ever since the turnaround in Boston, you guys pretty much have the same lineup really when you get Lomberg back in there. How much is
you did that to me once before, you know that.
Not going again. How much does the consistency help these guys? I think every single day they're waking up in the playoffs, know exactly who they're going to be up with, what the day is going to look like.
And we haven't moved the lines really since Game 5 of the Boston series. It's been really consistent. Ryan comes back in, Lomberg comes back in, and that's been good for us, especially in the Carolina's such a 4-line team. They have players on all 4 lines. So the consistency is good. And all of the little, it kind of feels, a little bit like a karma. Because that never happened during the year. We had Barkov and Bennett out for critical stretches, right? Your 2 centermen that drive your game, and we had guys step in. Luostarinen and Lundell went into those holes. Stahl played in the 3-hole. We won games. So we went through this flux all year and then none. So it's been kind of a nice change for us.
And then looking at the penalty kill, last game you said you just need the one big one. Of course, game 2 you get them all. I think you only got 4 shots on goal. How do you like how the PK responded in game 2?
Yeah, so that's Sylvain Lefebvre, and we aren't a naturally gifted penalty killing team, but we do have smart players, and they work hard at it. So, in fairness, Sergei is the best penalty killer that we have, and he's been great in that. But there's a different feel, like when you can get a game like that, there's a different feel in overtime going off the bench. Right? We had a big kill last game in overtime, and we had some really important kills late in the games. The confidence is no different on your penalty kill than on your power play. It's the exact same thing. You feel good, you're a little bit faster, you get to a puck, you get to a shot lane, win a face-off, get it clear. It's all the same thing, so important that we can build some confidence in that system.
Go ahead. When you looked at film last night afterwards?
Never.
No?
Never do it after the game.
Never?
No, it's too emotional. Like, you don't get the same.
Yeah.
You need to step back. Wins and losses, because when you win, you're pulling all the great clips, and when you lose, you pull nothing but bad clips. So I never do it after the game. I'll do it early in the morning.
Okay. Have you done it this morning?
I'm halfway through, yeah.
Halfway through. Did anything else jump out at you about your team performance? It doesn't always show up immediately after.
There would be some technical things in there, like they came out hot for sure, but we fed that game a little bit. And in part, we held water, and I'm actually good with it. I think the shot clock was way off. So it wasn't quite, and there were some muffins in there for sure, but there were they had some really good chances in that. So Sergei was the key piece to the start. I'm actually okay with the start of the game because you have to expect it, right? They're the number 2 team in the NHL. You're not controlling. We just played 7 periods of hockey. You're not controlling the game. So in the game, in the part of the game that they controlled, we fed a bit of it, so there's some things we can do better. But for the most part, we held water, right? We and then with 8 minutes left in the first period, we got back to our game a little bit. So that's a 12-minute stretch, and when you look at that Devils series, that's where those games broke, right? They took off, and we were able to hold, and our goalie was a big part of it.
Right side, Tom.
Just looking at fatigue at all at 10 periods, 11 periods of play. Did you notice that last night?
If it's there, it's there for both. So it's a flat deal. I think these guys, again, like they get 6 days off, we get 5 days off, and we in way more intense games, but a much easier schedule in some ways than a regular season NHL for us. There's no back-to-back. We're not getting off the plane at 3 a.m. So we have that challenge in Florida because we're so far away from everybody. We get into a sleep debt during the regular season. And it's part of the reason why we always stay over, just get them into bed. It's just a little bit quieter. So overtime went huge, right? And you could see on our bench, everybody was excited. And then it got to quiet very quickly, right? Like the first overtime winner, I think, it was 20 minutes in the locker room, right? Everybody's just wired and jumping up and down. Now it's kind of like everybody high-five Chucky and then took their gear off.
What do you think of the matchup? Will you try to get two friend lines at home?
That's a really good question. And I'm not sure. So we've gone, let's not count the overtime as a period. So that's 10 periods of hockey, and we've got 1 5-on-5 goal. You know, I guess my thought is don't change your grip. Maybe you got a fade in your game, but play the fade and don't change your grip. That's where I'm at with it. It's more of a Pinehurst reference for where we are. We're good?
We're good.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks,